More hits, more memories.
Atlanta's #1 radio stations, Swanky 93.3 and The Heat 94.6 radio stations, has you covered. From our studios to our newsroom at K.L.P. Entertainment. Listen on all major audio platforms like Spotify, iHeartRadio, Audacity, Apple Podcast, Stitcher Podcast, Google Podcast, YouTube, and more.
Live from our newsrooms brings back our hit news network, SNN, with many news anchors like Arthur Brooks, Addison Hayden, and Beatrix Gemma.
Brings you stories about the news worldwide. Tune in on Atlanta's #1 stations,
Swanky 93.3 and The Heat 94.6 radio stations.
To get the latest news today, listen on all major audio platforms like Spotify, iHeartRadio, Audacity, Apple Podcast, Stitcher Podcast, Google Podcast, YouTube, and more.
Hello everyone and welcome back to our channel of K.L.P. Entertainment. Reporting live from our newsroom, this is SNN. I'm Beatrix Gemma. Here's your news breaking for March 6th. The 3D Dragon Ball fighting game series is coming back. Bandai Namco has announced the return of the Dragon Ball Z, Budokai Tenkaichi series, over 15 years after the franchise's last mainline entry. Revealed over the weekend at the Dragon Ball Games Battle Hour 2023, via Wario 64, a brief teaser trailer confirmed that the new game is in development. It doesn't have a title, confirmed platforms, or release window yet, as the trailer simply said, a new sparking begins. Dragon Ball Z, Sparking, is the name of the Budokai franchise in Japan. There's also an English version of the trailer from a live stream that hasn't been officially uploaded yet, and it says, a new Budokai Tenkaichi begins. You can check out the Japanese version of the teaser trailer for yourself below. Dragon Ball Z, Budokai Tenkaichi was first released on PlayStation 2 in 2005. The franchise saw 2 sequels in the following 2 years, which came to PS2 and Wii. While there were multiple spin-offs following the original trilogy, the series hasn't seen a new mainline entry since 2007's Budokai Tenkaichi 3. The Budokai Tenkaichi games are 3D fighting games starring dozens of characters from the Dragon Ball Z anime. This teaser trailer doesn't indicate if the new game is Budokai Tenkaichi 4 proper or another spin-off entry, but either way, it's been a very long wait for fans of the franchise. In recent years, Dragon Ball fighting game fans have been playing Dragon Ball FighterZ, the critically acclaimed 2D fighter from Arc System Works. Fans looking for a more straight-up adaptation got Dragon Ball Z, Kakarot, which recently came to PS5 and Xbox Series XS.
Reporting live from our newsroom, I'm Arthur Brooks. Jacksonville Jaguars wide receiver Calvin Ridley has been reinstated by the NFL, the league announced Monday. Ridley, who had been suspended indefinitely since March 2022 for violating the NFL's gambling policy, is eligible to participate in all team activities, effective immediately, an official statement from the league said. Ridley applied for reinstatement last month on the first date he was eligible to do so. The Pro Bowler was suspended after being found betting during a 5-day period on NFL games in November 2021 when he was away from the team on the non-football illness list. Today's reinstatement by the NFL brings an end to a challenging chapter of my professional career, one that was self-inflicted and began with an isolated lapse in judgment, Ridley said in an official statement. I have always owned my mistakes and this is no different. I have great respect for the game and am excited for the opportunity to restart my career in Jacksonville. I look forward to showing my new coaches, teammates, and the entire Jaguars organization exactly who I am and what I represent as a player and person. The Jaguars organization is aware of the NFL's ruling to reinstate Calvin Ridley, the team added. We look forward to building a relationship with Calvin as both an individual and as a player. Calvin is a proven playmaker and we are excited to see him compete among and with his new teammates, first during our off-season program in April and ultimately into the 2023 season, as we collectively pursue a championship for Jacksonville. NFL Commissioner Roger Goodell ended up sending a letter to Ridley condemning his actions and reminding him of the strict policy against gambling for players. There is nothing more fundamental to the NFL's success, and to the reputation of everyone associated with our league, than upholding the integrity of the game, Goodell said in the letter. This is the responsibility of every player, coach, owner, game official, and anyone else employed in the league. Your actions put the integrity of the game at risk, threatened to damage public confidence in professional football, and potentially undermined the reputations of your fellow players throughout the NFL. For decades, gambling on NFL games has been considered among the most significant violations of league policy, warranting the most substantial sanction. In your case, I acknowledge and commend you for your promptly reporting for an interview, and for admitting your actions. Ridley went on social media after learning of his suspension, and while he admitted to gambling, he said he didn't have an addiction to it. The Jaguars, knowing that Ridley wouldn't be able to play for them until 2023, made the trade with Atlanta in November. They sent a 2023 fifth-round pick and 2024 conditional fourth-round pick to the Falcons. This is an opportunity to add a proven playmaker to our already talented wide receiver room as we continue to build our roster for 2023 and beyond. We are looking forward to finishing strong this season and integrating Calvin into our program at the appropriate time, Jaguars GM Trent Bauch said at the time. The Jaguars made the postseason this past season after a second-half push thanks to solid offense from Trevor Lawrence and company. Ridley is expected to make an immediate impact for them this season in a group of wide receivers that includes Christian Kirk, Zay Jones and Marvin Jones Jr. That will do it for our news breaking for March 6th. Please remember to like, comment, and subscribe to our channel of K.L.P. Entertainment. Reporting live from our newsroom, I'm Arthur Brooks.
Live from our newsrooms brings back our hit news network, SNN, with many news anchors like Arthur Brooks, Addison Hayden, and Beatrix Gemma.
Brings you stories about the news worldwide. Tune in on Atlanta's #1 stations,
Swanky 93.3 and the Heat 94.6 radio stations.
To get the latest news today, listen on all major audio platforms like Spotify, iHeartRadio, Audacity, Apple Podcast, Stitcher Podcast, Google Podcast, YouTube, and more.
Atlanta's #1 radio stations, Swanky 93.3 and the Heat 94.6 radio stations, has you covered. From our studios to our newsroom at K.L.P. Entertainment. Listen on all major audio platforms like Spotify, iHeartRadio, Audacity, Apple Podcast, Stitcher Podcast, Google Podcast, YouTube, and more.